Of course, when I say this is the Japanese Calatrava for every man and woman, I don't mean it will rival the quality of a Patek Philippe. Instead, what I mean is this watch will satisfy your craving for a well-proportioned, clean and low-maintenance dress watch with crazy accuracy to boot. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any reviews, head-to-head or quick time. And follow me on Instagram and come along with me on my watch collecting journey. At first glance, many people might think this is a woman's watch because of the size. But believe it or not, this is the men's version according to Seiko. There's another model which is about 24mm wide, and that is, according to Seiko, a woman's size. However you slice it, this is pretty much a unisex watch in today's culture. It would look great on you regardless of your gender or sexuality. A little history on wristwatch sizing before we get started. When wristwatches first started getting into the market, there were around 28 to 32mm for round watches and 26 to 29 for a rectangular one. It wasn't until the mid-1980s that Cartier came out with a big watch of 38mm that watch sizes started becoming close to the average size of 40mm we see today. So in a certain aspect, this watch from Seiko is a throwback to the watch sizes of yesteryear and a celebration of the traditional watchmaking with a hint of contemporary elements, such as the high accuracy quartz movement found within this watch, which we'll get to later in the review. As always, let's start off with the case design, and I got one word to describe it: fluid. The whole case is rounded no matter which angle you look at it. It is also fully polished with no brushing in sight. This combination makes it look like a nicely shaped blob of liquid metal sitting on your wrist. If that wasn't clear, it is spectacular. There are hints of faceting on the case, but the transition between facets are smooth and rounded, and the level of polishing is constant throughout the watch, lending support to why I call the case design fluid. The polished bezel of this watch also seems to be hugged by two curvaceous lugs that visually extends from one end to the next without interruptions. The lugs themselves curve down slightly below the case back, making it hug the wrist nicely as well. Looking at the watch from between the lugs, we can see that the midsection of the watch extend out just slightly, creating a symmetrical step above and below. The whole case is also DiaShield coated to prevent scratching. Turning the watch over, we are greeted with the first and only brushed surface, the case back. It is a piece of solid stainless steel snap-on case back. The brushing here is rather surface level, but can be forgiven given it is on the back of the watch and you don't see it often. This watch has a flat sapphire crystal with a well done AR coating, giving you a clear view of the spectacular dial. The crown is tiny and sunken into the case, protecting it from bumps. Despite the small size, it has a coin edge, making it easy to grip and operate. But you would definitely not have to touch the crown at all, since there is no day and date to fiddle with, and the accuracy of this watch is something else for this price range. The tip of the crown is also dome with what I believe is a piece of rounded black polished plastic, and it is made to look like a cabochon on a Cartier watch. But Seiya Japan claims that it is a natural awnings. Moving on to the dimension and the movement within this watch. This watch has a diameter of 33.5mm, lug distance of just 17mm, and a thickness of just 5.3mm, and a lug to lug of 38.9mm, and a total weight of 26 grams. This watch just disappears on your wrist. The movement is an 8J41 movement, which is a high accuracy quartz used in Grand Seiko and Credo in the past. It is a 7 jewel movement with a yearly, yes you heard that right, yearly deviation of just 10 seconds per year and a battery life of approximately 3 years. Here's my theory on why this movement has trickled down and found its way into an affordable Seiko. The movement has been in production since the year 2001. I think the movement has paid for itself by now, and the process has been so well optimized that the cost has come down significantly, letting more of us enjoy this movement at a reasonable price. Finally, to the main event of the show, the dial. It is quite difficult to explain in words what it looks like, but let me try. It is halfway between a finely textured washi paper and a silver plate splashed with diamond dust. Indirect light, it shimmers and the light dances off the dial like there's no tomorrow. In its essence, it is a simple dial, yet there's a certain level of casual complexity that elevates that simplicity into pure beauty. The hands are fully polished Dauphine style hands. They reflect light quite well, making them appear black at times, lending to great visibility. The second hand has a capped pinion that gives this watch a splash of sophistication. We usually find capped pinion on a watch 20 times the price of this, and sometimes not even. The indices are faceted baton style with the 12-hour marker receiving a double baton. They too receive a nice polishing and completes the fluid design nature of this watch. Onto the printing. They're crisp and dark, creating great contrast for the branding and the minute marker around the watch to stand out from the perimeter of the dial. On the wrist, this wears great. It is easy to center the watch on the wrist as the strap is soft and the lugs are turned down. I love the strap that comes with this watch. I have no intention of switching it out for something else. It is very supple with the right amount of shine that forms onto your wrist and breaks in easily. The buckle is rounded on the underside and doesn't dig or scratch into your wrist if you like to wear it tight. Another interesting thing about the buckle is the Art Deco vibe it gives off, with the rounded top and fluid rounded side step giving off a 1920s French luxury and glamour jewelry appeal. By the way, even though this watch is a dress watch, it also comes with a lock hole, making swapping out the leather strap a breeze if you so choose. The one gripe I have about this watch is, there is none. I really can't fault it, especially at this price. But if I really stretch myself and be nitpicky, I could definitely find something, and that thing would be the Dolce wording on the dial. I could do without that. Not that it takes anything away from the dial. Overall, this watch punches way above its price range. It has a beautiful fluid design, great dial, and a great traditional proportion. I'm glad I bought the watch. It is quite uncertain when Seiko will replace the amazing self-sustaining 8J movement with one of their radio control calibers, as they have been doing so for the Dolce and Exceline line. Get it while you can. Stay tuned for my next review. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this review with your friends. Follow me on Instagram and see you next time. Peace.